I got just one simple question for you. What are you waiting for? I mean, what are you waiting for? Oh, damn. All right. I'll tell you what, I am feeling energized. I've got some stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about you. We're going to talk about what you're waiting for. Because obviously, I guarantee, as you sit where you are right now, when you look around and you scan your life and the things you have going on in it, you're going to find that you're probably waiting on something. You've got these series of things that have to happen before you start having like that really great time, right? No? Don't think so? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Here's the biggest scam I have ever seen in my life, and that is the idea of us having to wait or deciding, because it's clearly our decision. I mean, when we retire, it is definitely our decision. But the idea of waiting until you're 65, 70 to retire. And of course, some people say, "Well, I can't retire really. What else would I? What else would I do?" I'm looking around. I'm like, "Geez, there's a big list out there. You could mountain bike, hike, you could camp, you could fish, you could run, you could write, you could sing, you could dance, you could. I mean, you kind of get my point, right? And yet, what do most of us do? Hey, how you doing? I'm all right. How you doing? I'm all right. What are you gonna do this weekend? Well, I got to do some yard work. Got some yard work to do. Got to work on the grass. And what's funny is, and I get in trouble when I say this, and I'm not exactly sure why, because there is it's based completely and totally on truth. And I'm not lying to you. I'm going to say it like it is. And here's the deal: there has to be, uh, without a doubt, there has to be a million things that would be better to do than to mow a lawn. And from the expression of on your face and on your neighbor's face when you get peel yourself out of bed and throw your hat on, you don't even bother to brush your teeth. It's going to be one of those kind of days. You grind yourself out there. There you are. You're in it, right? And then as a result, what are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Why aren't you on the beach? And of course, the answer is what's interesting. That's the interesting part of this whole story. What is the answer to that? The reason you're not on the beach is because it's not time yet. It's not time yet. You got to wait. You got to wait. You got to wait till you're old and broken down. Not a very good plan. I think we need to talk. Stick around. got kind of got into my little dramatic side, right? It's trying to fill it out, trying to get an idea of how I need to deliver this message so that you'll say, "Oh yeah, I think he's right." Because that's the ultimate goal. I'm not exactly sure, and I think it has to do with the mistrust of me because I don't actually like. I'm not asking you for anything. Not, and then the whole time I was, "Hey, click that button and send me money. Send me money." No, I don't. I mean, I wouldn't mind it if you sent me some money. That'd be great, but I'm not. That's not why I'm here. You see, I would do this anyway. I would be doing this anyway. It just wouldn't be getting recorded. It wouldn't be getting recorded. And I learned this. I got this information, this the inspiration for me to go ahead and change how I was living my life. Because believe me, I lived my life exactly like you did. I'd wake up every day and I would do exactly the same thing, and the outcome was not only going to be the same as my neighbors and everybody I worked with, but it was also going to be exactly the same as my dad and my mom and my aunt and my uncle and their neighbors and their neighbors and their neighbors and their neighbors. Which in itself might not seem like a bad thing, which it's probably not, except now this is where people get all except the sheer level of energy that you draw from what you're doing, from what you're doing every day. You're going to wake up every day just like I do, and you're going to do certain things every day just like I do. And the only difference between what you're doing and what I'm doing is put a bunch of stuff in there that really isn't that much fun. And the only reason you're not having the kind of fun that I am is because you've waited. You've decided to wait. You've decided, I don't think I'm ready for this yet. I don't think I'm ready. And so you wait because the plan, and of course, you remember the plan, right? You remember the plan when you retire, which equates to when you're old and broken down and you can't get up. No way. No way. What? Did I did. I said that because it's true. It's true. The world is full of people. If someone's knocking on your door, whether it's because via your phone or whatever you have going on in your life, you can be sure that most of those people want something from you. They're there to enact and engage with you in a way that benefits somebody besides you. Why do you suppose that is? Because that's how the world works. If you're going to improve your standard of living, the value that you receive from the hard work you're putting in, because guaranteed, I know you're getting up and you're working your ass off, because everyone does it, right? That's just part of that's the other side of the plan. But what I'm contending here is that if you love mountain biking, if you love hiking, if you love fishing, this would be a good time to ask yourself that one simple question, and that is, why wait? Why are you waiting? What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? If you love fishing, get to fishing. Start on a plan to get you fishing. And of course, what do we face at that point? What do we face as a result of that kind of thing? We're like, what do I do? I'm going to tell you what to do. I'm going to tell you how to get there. I hope you're having fun. Definitely am. We will be back in just a minute. All right. Now, time for you to put your big boy pants on, your big girl pants on, whatever that looks like for you. It's time for you to don your armor, right? Because we're going to talk about something that's kind of sensitive, right? It's the internet, social media, the things we do, the things we love. And what happens is when I start pointing things out that we do, there's the tendency for us to jump up and defend it. But the truth of it is still the truth, right? The truth of what I'm saying is still the truth. Now, here's the truth. There is a good chance. In fact, there's an excellent chance that you spent a substantial amount of time today doing something, engaged in something that took up your time, took up your mental energy, but did not provide you with any real tangible result. You're not smarter because of it. You haven't learned something in a positive direction. Now, an example of that would be something I've tended to stay away from, and that is social media. I put some stuff up there. I throw the podcast up there, but I'm not in there showing you what I had for supper, and I'm not in there telling you what I'm doing every minute of every day, because I've got other things I'm trying to do. And when I'm doing that, I'm not getting that other stuff done that I enjoy significantly more, right? And that's really what it all comes down to. I talk to people about being happy. Everyone I talk to say, "Oh, hell, I'm happier than hell. I'm happier than hell." In fact, I had people when I first started my journey, they would get pissed off. They'd be like, "What do you mean? What do you mean here? I'm not happy. What do you mean?" And I'd ask them, I say, "So you love mowing a lawn? You love working 40 plus hours a week, worrying about it, or paying bills with a frown on your face because you can't really afford the life you've chosen? And the sad part is you can't seem to figure out how to change any of it." And of course, there again, now that's that being candid that scares people. That's when people go, "Oh, wait a minute. Hey guys, he's talking about us, right? He's talking about us. I'm talking about you. Yeah, you and you and you and you, right? Why aren't you doing what you love? Why aren't you paddleboarding every evening of the week? The lake's 30 minutes away. You got to do something in the evening anyway. Why would you pick something that's cool? Why wouldn't you pick something that inspires you? And the answer is because you've been taught to wait. Oh, no, no, no. You can't do that. You're only 60. You can't learn that. You got to wait. You can't. There's rules there. You can't retire at 54. Damn right I did. And just so you know, so did my wife, right? By the way. Of course, and then this all comes down to a matter of accountability, right? Accountability. Who are you accountable to? If you're not accountable to anyone, that might explain why things are not going exactly the way you want. Let's talk about that in a minute. Oh no. Oh no. This is where I'm going to get on my soapbox and I'm probably going to piss some people off. Sorry about that. Maybe not. There's some things that just need to be said. Okay. So let's talk about our society and the rules and all of the changes and what we think is right and what we think is wrong. Here's the bottom line. Here's the bottom line. The way I see it, if your actions impact me directly, then me and you need to have a conversation. It doesn't matter what the arrangement is or what the association is or what group you're from or what group I'm from. If your conduct is contrary to like what normal people would do, there needs to be a correction. And of course that brings us to that conversation about, okay, well, what's normal, right? Well, if you approach me in the interaction with me and it makes me go crap, oh crap, and it interferes with my life or my space, then I have a right to have some accountability. Now that's what's missing in the world. And maybe this is an X, maybe this is for X, maybe this isn't the status quo, what everybody's thinking, and oh, I can't believe he's saying that kind of stuff. I have no idea. All I know is the truth. The truth is, regardless of what circumstance you are in, if there is a level of accountability, it's accountability that maintains stability and order. And it's when we lose accountability of ourselves and of others and those around us lose accountability that all of a sudden there is chaos. What does accountability look like? Well, on an individual basis, accountability is you being in a relationship with someone and then you saying this is a rule that will not be broken, and then you're accountable to that. Every time you get the idea that you might want to break that rule, guess what you do? You say, oh, I can't break that rule because I'm accountable. I'm accountable to the person that I share my life with. Right? Accountability, it extends into children. That's how we are set to raise our kids. That's the standard for how we raise our kids, accountability, right? Think about it. Think about what we're talking about here. How would you establish accountability in children? Well, anytime a child does something, or let's go back. Let me ask you this. What would be the standard of conduct for a child that would be good for the parent, good for the child, good for society? What would be the standard? Would it be sitting down when you're in a restaurant and paying attention to your food and listening to your parents and not yelling and screaming and making a whole hell of a lot of noise that disrupts everybody else's dinner? That would be standard conduct as it is for adults. And here's the ticket. For adults, there's consequences. I guarantee you, if I'm sitting in a movie, all of a sudden I start standing up and I'm just over there talking and joking and making all kinds of silliness going on when I'm in the theater, I guarantee someone's going to stand up and say, hey, sit down. Sit down. Do it now. Right? Accountability. What does accountability look like for a child? Well, it's anything that makes them uncomfortable and takes them out of their element, removes them from that thing that they're enjoying, that thing that they're doing. And of course, the idea, especially when it comes to me, because I can be a little bit, gruff. I can be a little bit gruff. And so I hold them accountable in my own way. But like, oh, be careful. I'm not talking about beating your kids up. But if you have a 2-year-old and they will not sit still at the table, there's nothing wrong with you reaching over and grabbing them by the leg and say, no, you sit there, or no, don't do that. And you hold them there until they're irritated, until they stop crying. And then every time they do that, every time they react the way that you don't want them to, you restrain them. Guess what happens? They don't like being held down. They are going to change it. So again, given that, why would you wait? All right. No conversation would be complete without having a conversation about your relationship. And I realize this is rather redundant, but there seems to be some issue with us being able to actually say, all All right, I got it. I understand what's going on, right? I see it. No matter where you are in your life, there's a tangible benefit down that road. If it's the purchase of a home, and you've approached that from the standpoint of it's an investment, then the ideal path that you would want to take is one where you're capitalizing on that. That's what we're going to get this thing paid down, and we're talking about it every day, and that's the plan, and that's the reason we do it, and we go into it knowing what we're going to do, and that's the reason we stopped buying coffee at Starbucks, and that's the reason we stopped drinking. That's because we've made this commitment, and now we're in it, right? A tangible action, a hyper focused look at your life in any direction and where you are and where you want to be will result in action. I guarantee it. Bringing it back around to your relationship. Imagine for a second that he didn't smell like whiskey when he went to bed at night. Imagine for a second that you guys got all excited about going to the gym again, and all of a sudden the kids are getting older. You can leave them home. It's just you and him. Can you imagine how cool that would be? How cool it would be to be able to spend that time together and just do that thing together, and maybe even have some sort of fantasy about how it could be like it was when you guys first used to date. It's Saturday night. It's 8 o'clock at night. The kids are in bed. You tell your oldest, "Hey, listen, me and your dad are going out for a minute. We'll be back later." And you go out and you find a little dance club and do a little dance, and you go out to dinner, and then you go have a few drinks and catch an Uber home, and it's something cool like that. That's the reason. I mean, when you think about the reason we struggle in our relationships, it's because it ain't like that. 2 years in, baby, you got 2 years. Enjoy it, and by the end of 2 years, you better have a better plan. Because there's a lot of things I don't know, I guarantee that, but there's a lot of things I do, and one of the things I know for sure is that you're running out of time. You're running out of time, and in 2 years, no matter what it is, there's a good chance you have hit your pinnacle of learning and your pinnacle of success. And how do you change that? Well, take a look at your life and map it out. Yes, map it out. Why wait? Why would you wait until you're 65 to figure out what retirement's going to look like? Why would you wait till you're 65 to figure out how your medical care is going to be, where you're going to live, what you're going to do? You have your whole life in front of you. And of course, when you start thinking about it and planning it out, you might just find out that you don't have to wait till you're 65 to live that life. Can you imagine how cool that would be? And of course, now you're sitting down in the Caribbean, and some couple like you shows up on the beach, and they're just there on vacation. You're sitting there having drinks with them, and they're looking at your tan body and the stories of catching fish in the morning and saluting the sunset with a drink and all the escapades and the people you've met. And you'll look at them and you'll go, I don't understand. Why wait? That's how simple it can be. But you got to make it good. You got to make it so that it's something you just cannot help yourself. It's got to be something where you wake up and you're excited about where you're going. Oh man, I'm on a roll. I'm feeling good, right? Feeling good this morning. This is the result of doing a lot of practice. This is a result of actually thinking through some of this stuff in your mind, right? Talking about why would you wait? There are so many things that you can correct and you can fix right now. Hypothetically, because we're going to start into this easy, because people get all scared, get all nervous when I start saying, "Hey, well, you should do this." They go, "Oh," you get all nervous, "Oh," right? Get all nervous. Oh, he's crazy. What does he mean? What does he mean? It comes down to making your life fit who you are and what you want to be, what you want to experience. No matter, I don't, and the cool part is when you start living you, all of a sudden, all of the bullshit from everyone around you just disappears. And how does that happen? Well, it happens because guess who you're thinking about? Guess who you're talking about? Guess who you're planning for? Guess who you're looking to improve upon? You. People say, I don't go to church because, all those churches, they're just full of people and they're like, and they do this and they do that and they do this and they do that. Want to change that? You gotta hinkling to go to church, but you're just not sure how you can avoid all that? Why don't you walk in those doors and the only person you think about is you? What do you suppose would happen to your church relationship, to your relationship to the higher power? And that's regardless of what you believe. I mean, you're not going to church to actually teach them what you know. You're going to church to listen to what they know. You're going to church to suck up some of that goodness that comes from the hearts and minds of people who gather together with one idea. And granted, we're not perfect. I mean, we're not going to take a tally of how many good people we actually have in church, but that's not my point. None of that matters when you think about you. And when's that going to happen? Well, it's up to you. I mean, why would you wait, right? Because let me tell you this. Here's another side to this that we don't understand, or a lot of us just seem to overlook. Once you get good at managing you, all of that other stuff becomes unnecessary. All of the other stuff you're doing, the arguments with your husband, the battles with your kids, they all disappear. And the reason why is because when you start taking charge of you start taking charge of actions that involve you. I don't need my wife to be in love with me or to be interested in me. In fact, I don't even need her to be nice to me for me to have a wonderful day. And how do I do that? It's simple. I just say, hey, Chris, look around and I take inventory of the wonderful things that I have in my life. The fact that I woke up this morning is a wonderful thing. The fact that I'm able to be here and do this and have the skills and the drive and energy to do all of the things I do, that's a damn wonderful thing. And you notice I'm not waiting, right? Now, I'm going to start doing that I'll do that podcast next week. I'll get it done next week. Why wait? What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Got an idea in your head? Looking at your life, some aspect of your life isn't going exactly the way you would like it to go? Start thinking about it. Start talking about it. Start dreaming about it. Start lying about it. Tell a story that you just can't be true, but you hope it is. That's the final piece to this puzzle when we come back. Holy cow. You're going to be irritated with this. If you haven't heard this before, you're going to be irritated with it. So let me just tell you this. I'm not teaching you anything new. In all of this conversation about what are you waiting for, right? Asking you the question, why are you sitting on your hands and not doing more? All of the things that I'm going to tell you and I'm going to share with you to help you get down that road is stuff you already know how to do. You're just not pointing it in the right direction. Now, if that makes you curious, it should, but it's definitely true. I want you to just sit back in your chair and I want you to think about this. Think about how is it that your life came to the point it did in any given area? You own a house, you have a car payment, you have a husband and a wife or whatever that looks like. How did it come to that? If you're honest with yourself, if you just open your eyes and you think about the process, what happened was you got an idea. You got an idea and you started thinking about that idea, or maybe you've been thinking about that idea for a long time, but you got an idea. And what you did with that idea was you just kept thinking about it and kept dreaming about it. And of course, then you started looking for examples of that idea and wow, you found them and you're like, oh my God. And then you got excited about it. And before you know it, before you even realize, there you were, you had the down payment and then the financing, the paperwork's going through and you're signing the papers and there, you got your dream home. You do realize that's the same process as I use for everything I do in my life, right? Same exact process. I go to the gym, I do jiu-jitsu, and I got a black belt in Kempo karate, and I love to fight, I love to roll, I love to be in shape, I do a lot of cardio, a lot of push-ups, watching my belly go up and down. That's just the way it is when you work out, but it's wonderful. And why do I do it? Because it inspires me, but more than that, the way I build consistency into that is I just simply say, Uh, it's because I am a badass. My image for why I show up in the gym every day is when people look at me, when I look at myself, I see a tough old man. And granted, I'm not shy about that at all. I definitely am I'm pretty strong. I'm a lot easier to catch than I am to let go. Let me just assure you or leave you with that. But the point is, whether that is true or not in the higher standard of the world doesn't even matter. That doesn't matter. What matters is that I draw energy and I draw the drive from it to make it happen, to take action, to wake up every day and know at some point of the day I'm going to run towards that cliff and I'm going to dive off into going to that jujitsu gym, to that gym and rolling with guys I don't know and learning things I've never done. I don't care who you are. That shit's exciting, right? That's exciting. And it's supposed to be. If you want to do anything in the world, do it. Start talking about it. Write it on the mirror with a dry erase marker. Write it on the mirror. Look at it every day when you brush your teeth. Look at it every day at night when you go to bed. Put a number by it. How'd you do? How much time did you spend researching how to get back into nursing school? How to get into nursing school? How to become a manager? How to do and fill in the blank. I'm just one guy. But unlike most people, I wasn't about to wait. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Something to think about. Kick it around. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am not even close to being on track. But I know that when I started adding things to my life, when me and Sandy started adding things to our life that excited us and energized us and made us laugh and become better friends together, our life got better and it put fuel in our tank. We didn't just wake up one day and all of a sudden we RV and we're doing all this stuff. This is a work of art, a process. And I guess the caveat in the whole thing is you don't have to stop. You don't ever have to stop. Wake up excited, energized. Think about the goodness. Think about the good stuff. Add things to your life that'll make your life better. Conversations, smile, wake up and commit to God, to the universe, whatever you have to make that commitment to smile and to serve the world with kindness. And I guarantee your world will change for the better. Listen, don't forget to look for me. I am on YouTube. We're putting these things out. I'm on all the major platforms for the podcast. I do a morning show called Morning Coffees, Monday through Friday, 7:30 Central Daylight Time. It's Chicago time. So tune in there. Please subscribe to me as well. As always, don't forget, where you're going is up to you. Where you're going is up to you, and it doesn't have anything to do with where you've been. Until next time, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to share and like. My name is Chris Jaquez, and this is your Best Life Defined. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.